Joining us now, 1 hour early, is Meghan McCain, Mondays with Meghan. Hi, Meghan. How are you?
I'm so sorry. Mondays with Meghan has been going on for like a year, and I think it's the first time I've had to move it, so I apologize.
It's okay. You're everyone's allowed.
Meghan, we got we got 3 hours to fill. I mean, it really doesn't matter.
You can come back again at 5. You won't even bother us.
What are you doing at 6?
Okay. Thank you. And Gaydos, I don't know if he told you guys, he saw my brother at an event, and I got a bunch of photos of the two of them together having so much fun without me.
We were at a Cardinals. So, we were at a Cardinals event together. We had lunch together.
Yeah. He told us. Guess what? Yeah. It's the best hour when you're on. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. So he's in.
What's he gonna say?
Oh well. Yeah.
Well. Let's dig into it because, Meghan, I think Bruce and I have a bit of an issue with some of the tweets this last week. So let's just...
My tweets?
Yeah. Yes, let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go. All right.
Go ahead.
We're going to ask you...
I would like to also just preface this that this has been a horrific time for my community. And I just mean community. I mean people who speak on conservative issues for a living. Yeah. That it's been... I work with many people who are extremely close to Charlie, people who are colleagues with Charlie. Like, it's been a really very intense week, or 6 days since he was assassinated.
And I think that's very fair. I really do, because you came on the show the day that he was killed.
We had you on.
And we know that you were friends with him.
Thank you.
Okay. And so part of me, it's interesting that you say that, because part of me, because I told Bruce this off the air, I go, I don't know if she meant all this stuff. Maybe she did. Okay, let's go through it. Here's one of the tweets. I think the fundamental difference between the right and the left in this country is that the left glorifies death, particularly of adversaries, and the right does not. Okay. Do you really believe that?
I am very conflicted and confused and upset right now about how many people, both abstractly and personally on the left, have been celebrating, glorifying Charlie's death, or saying in toned down words that he asked for it, including a former colleague that I worked with just a few years ago,
ABC,
on their own social media. And I just reverse the situation. If someone that I, politically could be more, juxtaposed to was assassinated in cold blood, and I knew someone who knew them or was in that movement, I would never behave in such a fashion. And I do think, and again, maybe I should have worded that tweet differently, and I completely say that my tweets are chaos half the time, but what I feel is that, and the vice president said this today too, that right now it really does feel like the bullets are in one direction. It feels like Trump is not my presidential candidate, but the proverbial Republican presidential candidate has almost been assassinated. I believe it's 3 times now. One, obviously, a bullet hitting him in Butler. My very close friend, Selena Zito, was there covering it at the time and came on my radio show today and was talking about how people are still saying they wish that the bullets hit her. Granted, there's psychos everywhere. But I do think that the left is going to have to reconcile with a very serious problem that started in 2020, where they consider speech violence and actual violence not violence, meaning in 2020, mostly peaceful protesting with buildings set on fire, and that there's a justification for someone saying you don't believe in that violence is as by recourse acceptable. And you don't have to listen to me. There's tons of data about this, and it's particularly high with Gen Z and college students. And I don't remember the exact data, but it's over 50% think that there's justifiable violence and it's also happening on the data shows that it's much more prominent on Democrats than it is Republicans. So yeah, I do feel like there's a lot of, I'm like scared of progressives right now. Like, I think that if like I got hurt or someone like me got hurt, there would be a lot of people celebrating. And again, I can't express to you if someone that I really dislike, I think Mamdani's a political existential threat to the country. I think his ideas are threats to the country. If God forbid something happened to him, I would do nothing but grieve with the nation. I would not bring politics into it at all. And I don't understand why that's so hard for so many people in this situation.
Mondays with Meghan. Meghan McCain joins us. What politician on the left said something bad about Charlie Kirk?
Ilhan Omar. And it's disgusting, and I will not repeat it.
Okay, that's one. But I mean, it's not
I saw President Obama, President Biden talk strongly about
Governor
violence.
Josh Shapiro, who I like, who's the governor of Pennsylvania, who had his house burned down by a radical progressive person on the left today, was talking about the rhetoric on the right. And again, I don't think in this moment most Republicans feel like we want to be lectured to right this second.
Right.
Again,
Charlie Kirk did wish death upon President Biden, by the way. I mean, at some point. I mean, right for thee, not right for me, right?
He said a lot of things in the beginning of his career in particular that I think, people probably took, offense at or didn't like. But he evolved.
Didn't deserve to be killed. I just want to have we can have two conversations. Didn't deserve to be killed. Full stop. Period. There's no but. Also,
I also think it doesn't
called
deserve
Biden
to
a tyrant and said he should be executed.
I just feel like, again, anecdotally in my life, there's been a lot of wonderful people who have been incredible about the situation, and there's been a lot of people who have been really hideous, and I didn't expect it. I have been shocked at the level of he deserved it. This is what happens when you traffic in this kind of conversations. And to me, Charlie Kirk was someone that I still believe is extremely mainstream, that probably 80% of all Republicans in America agree with the majority of things he said. And I also concede that I've been doing a lot of soul searching about my own role in media in this, that, I've been thinking about, like, almost every job I've ever had, I'm the token Republican that gets yelled at in almost every job I've had.
You get hired just for that cause. Yeah.
I'm not joking. I've done like 5 shows like that. And I was thinking, like, how holistically unhealthy that is, not only for myself, but for the country, for viewers, that it's unhealthy to have everyone be a caricature where it's a progressive person screaming at a Republican and vice versa, and that in every group of people on mainstream TV, you're allowed to have one Republican that's acceptable to come in, and then everyone has to have a hysterical meltdown that they're in the building. So I'm sort of going off on a tangent, but I stand by, how about I stand by 50% of that tweet?
Okay, fair.
Meghan McCain is joining us on the KTAR a little early, but I don't get how people are saying the left killed Charlie Kirk. I thought the guy who pulled the trigger killed Charlie Kirk. What does this have to do with the left? Was he a lefty? I don't know. His parents were right.
Governor Cox said that he was indoctrinated by leftist ideology. He said that on Face the Nation yesterday, and Governor Cox is the one that's leading the investigation that happened in his state.
But it's one insane moron that decided to do this, just like the guy who tried to kill Trump. I don't even know what his background is. We never heard it. We never heard anything from it. He tried to kill Trump. It went off of his ear. Thank God it didn't hit him. But it's like, who cares what their ideology? They're crazy. They're absolutely insane.
Why are so many Republicans reacting the way that we are? Because I will say I did not react this way when Trump was the assassination attempt happened.
Right.
I did not react this way when there's been, again, a litany of the violence against different kinds of people in different ways. I have never reacted this way before.
So why
is it because they weren't successful? I mean, don't get me wrong. Still, taking a shot at somebody's bad, but if it doesn't hit its mark, you're like, okay, well, we get to move on.
He's still alive, right? Yeah.
No, I think it's because Charlie was going into unsafe spaces and trying really hard to change hearts and minds. I mean, his whole, ethos was debate me. And he was if you ever watch any of his videos, he was very kind and respectful to even the most disrespectful people or people that just had the most radical, difference of opinion and perspective on the world. And I think for me, what's so confusing about this is, like, he was the nice guy. So if he's too much for people, and I'm seeing, again, in depth, so many people and commentators speaking so heinously about him, like, if you think he's that way, you probably think I'm that too. And you probably think everybody that I love in this space is like that. And I think that's why I'm reacting that way, because I did not think of him as a controversial person in the way that clearly so many
we disagree then. I find him very controversial, and I find a lot of the things he say abhorrent.
I can tell you this,
doesn't deserve to be killed. Again, I can separate those two things.
I think I'll tell you this. I think it's hard to be likable when you're talking about religion and politics. I think it's very difficult to do that. Maybe he tried to do that. But, I mean, was he respectful at times? Yes. Was he completely disrespectful at times? Yes. Yeah. I mean, I saw both. And so I think your question is interesting. Why do you feel this way now, Meghan, but not before? I just think the us versus them doesn't help.
The they.
Yeah, the they. Like they
did this. Who's they?
I don't, yeah. Because
I think again, just my own personal experience, and I'm conceding that this is just my life.
Yeah.
This is not reflective
You're not
of
speaking
everyone.
for others. You're speaking for yourself.
I have been kicked out of restaurants. I have been screamed. My friend Ben Ferguson and I tried to have lunch right outside the Capitol, 9 months ago, and we had a mob of people come up to us, screaming at us with cameras and trying to concede everything, stuff about apparently our stance on Israel. I've had really horrific experiences just for being conservative. My friends that work at MSNBC and CNN, and I have friends that work at both networks, never experienced stuff like this. So I think part of it is just, I know what this feels, not on that level, obviously, but I never know what room I'm going to walk into that someone thinks I'm a Nazi just simply because I'm conservative. And I feel like, the Democrats are so dominant in culture and education. They run every network except Fox News, just in the sense that, and again, I'm not just spouting things because of my partisanship. There's data and numbers. The View had 210 liberal guests and 1 Republican guest last year. 210 liberals and 1 Republican. Do you think that's fair and reflective of the United States? Of course not. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Why
is it that you don't think the counter opinion is valid to put on air?
I just think both parties do a terrible job at dressing each other down in times like this. I mean, I didn't like what people said about Paul Pelosi. I don't like Nancy Pelosi. I never liked Nancy Pelosi. But I'm not going to joke about a guy getting whacked in the head with a hammer. I thought the right did a terrible job on that. I'll even go so far as to say, listen, your father. I had to go. I went one-on-one on this station with Kelly Ward when she heard out your dad was sick, and we put her on, and she's like, I want that job. And I mean, I went at her like a crazed lion. That's on the right going about right. But Trump didn't even want to put the flags half-mast for your dad. And it's like, well, now you're going to do it. And you got to do it for Charlie Kirk. And I'm like, wait a second. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. No. That's just.
Well, I think you make a valid point, obviously. And again, I'm conceding that I have friends that are arming them, getting fitted for bulletproof vests for some of their upcoming college tours. I'm in a very emotionally, high moment in my life.
Again,
so I will concede that to you. And I think I don't know what happens next. I think that's my question. I saw Vice President Vance today, very angry and clearly also emotionally charged, saying the same thing. But then I talked to my friend Tulsi Gabbard on my show today, and she was talking all about how we have to live in the spirit of Martin Luther King and aloha, and that this is evil and we all can't get engulfed in evil. So, talk to me next week. I'll probably feel much different.
Yeah.
I also went to Charlie's vigil last night at the Kennedy Center, and it was very intense. By the way, Carrie Lake said some things that I thought were inappropriate.
Completely off the reservation, as usual.
Right. Not a shock.
Well, just tonally, I thought not something is appropriate for a vigil, but that's where I'm at. But I don't feel like, Bruce, I'm pretty sure you're a Democrat at this point. I'm not entirely sure.
No,
but,
he's not.
I refuse to join any political party that have somebody like me as a member.
He just doesn't like MAGA.
Yeah, I'm anti-MAGA. I'm not. That doesn't make me a Democrat. I know it makes me a Democrat to some people. It doesn't make me a Democrat.
I try and give the president a shot, a chance. But
yeah, I believe in free trade. I believe in personal responsibility. How's that? Where else do you want to go? Smaller government, lower taxes. What's that make me?
A McCain Republican.
Yeah, that makes me a heck of a lot closer to your dad than anybody else.
Yeah,
but in fairness, a lot of Democrats pretend they're McCain Republicans now, and we're happy to crap all over him when he was alive. That's not you.
Certainly
but
wasn't me.
A lot of people saying that to me. I apologize if anything I've said offended or any of the audience. Like I said, it's just how I am, and I'm fully said my tweets tend to be like a little manic and chaotic in general. I think it's just like the fluidity of the medium, but.
Listen, you knew the man. You knew the man.
It's personal to you.
You liked him. He was taken in the most violent of ways, and you have every reason to react the way that you have. And the thing I love about you, Meghan, is you can come on and we talk about it. We have a discussion, and that's as good as it gets.
We appreciate
that. I am very, as I think we can all agree, at least on this point, I am very, very worried about the holistic health of the country.
There are bigger issues.
I really am, and I am not. I'm certain we will get through this because America always does. And I had some friends remind me of, there are much darker times in the, not so recent past. But I think this is what I think it feels different. And it's not just that they were actually successful in assassinating Charlie. I think I'm scared for the first time in a long time because it just feels like this is all amping up. Does that make sense to you? Like, I feel like the violence is getting more consistent, and I think
Getting worse.
Yes, and I also I've never seen anyone killed before. I don't know how
Fair.
I've missed that in my life. I haven't, and I saw the video. I wish I had not. It came up on my Twitter feed, which, by the way, Twitter should never allow such things.
Right.
I don't care
It was
what
everywhere.
the situation is.
Right. You couldn't miss
it's
it.
horrific.
Yeah.
And I think there's something about the trauma of seeing that as well where, I don't know, but I'm hoping by this time next week I'll be in a much better headspace.
Yeah.
And
We
like
wish
I said,
that for you as well.
I don't want anyone to think that I don't respect their point of view, and I don't want Democrats to think that I won't obviously be open to any conversation. I'm just upset.
Yeah.
Understood. Megan, thank you, though. Thank you for spending time. Thank you for moving your schedule around for us as well.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh, thank you for moving your schedule around me. I appreciate it.
We love
thank
talking
you
to
for
you.
always having me on. I love talking to you guys too, and thank you for always having me on. It's such a privilege. And like I said, you can also guys always like text me. You're like, Megan, what the hell are you? Because trust me, my brother Jimmy does. The one in that.
Megan, what the hell? Yeah, okay. Well, we don't. Yeah. Appreciate your time today.
Like you make life complicated for me sometimes, Megan, but I love you. And it's okay.
We appreciate it. Be careful, be
Thanks,
safe,
Megan.
and we'll talk to you next week.
You guys too. Thank you guys. Bye.
All right, that's Meghan McCain, a little Mondays with Megan, early version of it today as we worked around her schedule a little bit.
Thanks for watching Outspoken with Bruce and Gaydos. Tap to watch more from KTAR News and click the button in the middle to subscribe.